Oh, hey, I'm just rehearsing for today's episode. Ha! Eat your heart out, Larry Owens. Who's Larry Owens? That's the guy who wrote that jam, the Joy of Painting theme song. Da-da-da-da-da, there it is. In 1961, a Louisiana-born piano player named Larry Mahobarak took on the stage name Larry Owens. Then he took the stage with this guy for a few years.
I got a wishbone in my pocket, got a rabbit's foot around my wrist, and I can have everything like a charm could bring. Give me a ball, baby.
Besides performing with the King, Larry wrote with Tina Turner, Ray Charles, Neil Diamond, and Barbra Streisand. He composed the theme songs to The Lawrence Welk Show, The Bold and the Beautiful, and the little ditty called Interlude.
Sounds like a song, doesn't it? That's maybe a good way to remember it. If I could sing, I'd sing it to you.
And much like Bob's painting style, this earworm of a tune has been tweaked, twisted, and transformed to create some neat hybrids of the original classic. So make sure you got some fresh batteries in your Walkman and your boom boxes. Pump up the volume and get ready to raise the roof on this almighty cabin as we visit with some folks who make a happy buck in the world of music, eager to sing praises for their favorite happy painter.
I'm just going back and forth between yellow and red, ochre, a little bit of umber now and then. You beginning to see the river yet? Up the lazy river, downhill. So you got to get in the mood and sing a little and have fun. It's a good thing I took up painting rather than singing.
A lot of folks associate loud guitars, screaming vocalists, and heavy metal with tattoos, booze, and Bob Ross's favorite punching bag,
the devil.
But I found a lot of the folks who exist in this world to be smart and sensitive, cool and creative. And you might be surprised to discover that some of them worship someone else.
I can't really remember a time when Bob Ross wasn't on TV. He was just there as a presence my whole life, on in the background, a calming presence.
And with some of our dark color, we can go back in here and create some heavy dark shadows in there if we want to. See there? Isn't that fantastic?
Hey, I'm Carla Harvey. I live in Chicago, Illinois, and I am the co-lead vocalist for the band Butcher Babies.
Carla Harvey grew up in a broken home in Detroit. She was introverted and timid. She would often turn to the TV, looking for solace from the noise, and she found it in folks like Mr. Rogers and Bob.
You start to feel almost as if they're a part of your world, and it's such a good feeling to have some peace.
I want to create a nice, soft, misty area at the bottom of these bushes. Very calm, peaceful, very soft. And the more you tap, the softer it'll become.
As a young girl, Carla chose markers over brushes. She was fascinated by comic books, but her fascination with Bob Ross provided a foundation for all her creative ventures.
Art is art. Inspiration is inspiration. So anytime that you see someone painting, it makes you want to do your art regardless of if it's the same method or not the same method.
This just opens doors to a world of art that'll take you places you've only dreamed about going.
And a woman who's been co-fronting a hard rock band for nearly 15 years found inspiration not just in Bob's painting, but in his softness, his human nature.
And that's nice. I like to see the sparkle come in people's eye when they painted their first picture and it works for them, and it does good things in here.
I do think that people at their core, they want things that are simple and good and that remind them of home.
The only thing we want you to do here is to be happy with what you've done.
Metalheads aren't just artistic, they're nostalgic, and typically fanatic about the things they grew up loving. A lot of them like to collect stuff.
I have the Funko Pop of Bob Ross. I have the Chia Pet.
It's got a little button here. Let's see. My name is Johnny Hawkins. I am the singer in a band called Nothing More, a rock and metal group based out of San Antonio.
With the majesty of an eagle, the physique of a jungle cat, singer Johnny Hawkins, barefooted, bare-chested, spends a good amount of time bouncing around on stage in the hard rock band Nothing More.
A lot of times I'll start a painting and have nothing more in my mind. Other than that, I don't really want to know anything.
Art is in Johnny Hawkins' genes. His mom painted with watercolors. She taught kids at the local schools to draw, even made a little business out of it.
The first thing I ever wanted to be in my life, before music, before anything, was a cartoon artist.
Shoot, I couldn't draw a straight line, but it's easy to paint. Much easier than trying to learn to draw.
And then as time went on, I got really into music and I wanted a drum set so bad, and that just like set me down this different path.
Let's begin making the indication of little grassy things that are growing right up to the path here.
Down the road, when we started performing, I always performed without a shirt on. I was always kind of no shirt, no shoes, very animalistic. It was just kind of my uniform. Like I like to just kind of be unleashed. I have a very active stage performance, and
yeah, you got a little lion in you. You're a little lion-esque when I see you. I feel like there's like a Bruce Lee Thundercats thing going on there when I see you. I hope you find that to be a compliment, because that's what it's meant to be.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of channeling my inner child and my inner animal, just, I guess, dress how you want to feel. And that's what that does for me. And so over time, though, I was kind of like, I want to do something different with this, because I don't want to just be the shirtless guy.
We leave a little place naked. And got no clothes on right there.
And so I started painting myself and kind of taking the art side of what I grew up in with my mother and watching Bob Ross growing up, for example.
Let your imagination work for you. Each of us is issued an imagination when we're born. Use it. And it's like any other muscle or anything in our body. The more you use it, the better it works.
I took some of those concepts and the things that I had learned and applied it to my body.
Let's add a little crimson and make it sparkle a little bit.
Nothing More tour all over the world, and in every new city, on every new stage. Johnny Hawkins emerges with a different shirt painted on.
Some days it looks really cool, and some days it doesn't look that great. But the one thing I learned from my mother and Bob Ross as well, kind of in the same breath, was that I learned there's really not mistakes.
I just sort of do it to see what happens. It doesn't matter, because as you know, in our world, we don't make mistakes. We just have happy accidents.
If you're a really good artist, you mess up and something that you didn't intend happened with the brush or with the color. You view that as a creative opportunity for something that you didn't plan on that actually might be a cooler, more interesting design.
In the music world, a lot of the Bob Ross rules apply. Talent is a pursued interest. Be brave. Don't be ashamed to be a little crazy. Don't be afraid to be a little different. And anything that happens, with a little practice and patience, can be fixed.
He seemed like one of those people that could never make a mistake. But if you were in his head, he'd probably go, oh, well, I didn't mean to go that way, but I guess that's a tree now. That's a happy little tree, How
many trees do we want here? It's up to you. You decide. You decide. Maybe you want a whole forest, maybe just want a few.
I'd love to see you, like one time come out, and painting your body with happy little trees or or put a cabin on your on your abdomen or something, man. That would be maybe if we do a Bob Ross live event, we get nothing more to play. You'll
Yeah,
be
you know what
amenable
I
to that.
should do next time I paint myself and do, film it. Sometimes I'll do a time lapse of it before the shows. I should get some Bob Ross sound bites to narrate while I'm doing it.
Oh, I can help you with that.
With the ideas that we give you here, we hope that you'll just go absolutely wild with this. And paint your own masterpieces. Put your own dreams on canvas. Because painting should make you happy.
Ah, yes, Bob Ross sound bites. Taking all those Rossian nuggets of wisdom and shaping them into something else. Actually, that's a really good idea. Let me take a note of that. Use Bob's sound bites to make something fun.
I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your mind. I believe.
This auto-tune reimagining by John Boswell for PBS Digital Studios has amassed nearly 20 million views on YouTube, a testimony to Bob's enduring popularity.
Let's build a happy little cloud. Let's build some happy little trees. There are no limits here.
And sure, any old kook with an Atari 2600 or a Commodore 64 can mash up Bob's voice with a drum loop or a melody. But what about injecting Bob into a musical performance and using it to spread enough joy to cover a football field?
My name is Angelo Sapienza, currently in Colorado Springs. I am one of the band teachers at Doherty High School, Thomas B. Doherty High School, also in Colorado Springs.
3 years ago, high school band teacher Angelo Sapienza was feeling kinda blue.
We were stuck at home in the pandemic, and we were sad and isolated all of the time. My partner Alex, she said, you need to watch some Bob Ross. It's on one of the streamers. Trust me, you're going to feel better. And I was like, okay, fine.
Tap a little on the brush. And we'll blend it right into the base here. There. Those colors make you feel good already. They're just nice and bright and warm and cheery. Makes you feel good.
We turn on Bob Ross and we start watching, and of course we feel better right away because it's Bob Ross.
Think about form, think about shape. We're gonna build a tree. There. Look at that. Isn't that fantastic? This old round brush does wonderful things.
At first we were just kind of joking like, haha, we should do a Bob Ross marching band show.
But this is the Bob Ross universe, where ha-ha, we should do something, turns into voila, we did it.
And then we started listening to what he had to say about art and the human experience and appreciating nature. And we were like, oh my God, we might actually have something pretty unique here.
And right now, all we're looking for is just some basic ideas. We're not looking for a lot of detail. We'll come back and look at what we have, and then we'll begin picking out each individual little thing. Right now, all we're doing basically is blocking in some ideas.
We should do a percussion feature based off of Beat the Devil Out of It, where he takes his paintbrush and dig-a-dig-a-dig-a-dig-a-dig.
Okay, let's wash the old brush. Wash the old brush. That's the most fun part of this whole procedure, is washing the brush. But as I've mentioned to you, my camera people don't think much of this procedure.
From the beginning, when we decided that this was the show we were going to do this year, we really wanted to invest fully into the concept.
When Angelo started teaching at Doherty High 4 years ago, the school's marching band, better known as the Spartan Legion, consisted of 57 members. This year, there were over 100.
When marching band practice starts and you're like, all right, everybody, we're going to do this Bob Ross themed piece.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
What's the response from today's marching band generation?
Well, we caught this concept at the right time because everyone was stuck at home and everyone was watching Bob Ross. I was a little worried that I was bringing in a dated concept and that the kids weren't going to relate to it, but they've been pretty enthusiastic.
And that one goofy idea, that one tiny spark, was about to ignite a full-on spectacle.
If you've painted with me before, you know this is the fun part. Shake off the excess. Just beat the devil out of it. Beat the devil out of it.
So we're twice as big as we started 4 years ago. And I was like, well, Bob Ross, I need a big band and I need a big color guard. And the color guard's the unit of the band that spins flags. And traditionally we'll spin rifles and sabers. But what we did is we did a twist and we found some shovel handles, and we kind of fastened them to look like big old paintbrushes that they spin in place of the rifles. And then we take, instead of a saber, we have a drumstick that's got a colored streamer on it.
Begin blending that color inward. Ooh, isn't that gorgeous already? Those colors just go together so well.
In our second song, we have these giant paintbrush rollers. So it looks like we're painting with kind of like giant streamers. The band itself will form the shape of a river, and the color guard will run through it with these giant paint roller streamers. So it'll look like water coming down the river.
On this canvas, you're the creator. Anything that you want, you can build. This is your world.
This Bob Ross-inspired number is the centerpiece of a 4-song performance that Angelo calls The Artist Within.
To an artist, maybe imagination is one of the most important things that you can possess.
I like when he does his mountains. He talks about grabbing, bending, and pulling. So he'll say grab, the band does a visual that shows grab, bend, pull. And it's a very percussive moment in the show. And then we finish that moment, and then he goes,
There. That's really all there is to it.
and then that's when the band will look to their side and kind of brush off on their shoulder and keep going. It's a really effective moment. It's a lot of fun. Part 3 is the comedic relief, because Bob Ross is happy trees and happy accidents and all of those things. And up to this point, we've taken ourselves pretty seriously. So we want to give the audience a chance to be like, oh yeah, there's Bob Ross. There's the essence. There's the playfulness. And so our percussion instructors did a beautiful job writing this original music. And it's kind of this Latin calypso.
Before Angelo and the Spartan Legion go home, they go big, staging a finale that shows us that we can reach great heights.
The band will set up a block like this, and then the guard will fill in the space here. So with the flags, it'll look like a mountain. And he says, we can move mountains, and the shape shifts.
You can move mountains. You can do anything on this canvas. On this canvas, you have total power. Absolutely.
The notes and the measures, that's Angelo's paint. 116 marching band high schoolers are his canvas. But just like the joy of painting, there's more to it than that. There's costuming, coloring, choreography. There's a team of people, teachers and students, that make it all come together.
Especially here at Doherty, we have awesome band directors and just awesome students who just all love what they're doing, and everyone has the same goals and interests, and it's just a giant family.
I want to give as many positive experiences as we can to our students so that they can actualize the best in themselves.
Band is a really big part of my life. Last year when I joined, it brought such a joy to my life that I can't even explain.
And most of all, there's enthusiasm, passion. You can hear it practically pouring out of Angelo Sapienza. You can tell he's put a lot of time, thought, and energy into this. And that's what it takes.
I don't want to toot our own horn too hardly, but
No, please do. This is the place to do
I'll
it.
play the recording for people, and it will move them to tears.
The Spartan Legion performs The Artist Within during high school football games and in friendly competition with other Colorado marching bands. Angelo doesn't care about winning as much as he cares about leaving an impression.
We performed on Saturday, and one of our alumni was allegedly, much to their dismay, me telling you and the world, but just was sobbing, fits of sobbing, because they were so moved by what we were trying to do. That's what's getting me out of bed every morning. I'm exhausted. This is hard work on top of being a school teacher, putting together this production. I teach 5 other classes during the school day. Our marching band operates all after school. So we don't have a class for it. It's all extracurricular, volunteer. They get a grade, but they have to commit to it extra on top of everything else.
Now you can just get carried away here. Keep going and going and going. Just want to show you some ideas on how to do some of these fantastic things because you'll enjoy them.
It's just fun right now. Our identity is we're a group that compels people, that moves people. It's not just, all right, they sounded good, they looked good, we'll clap here, nice job. we left you thinking about what we had to say.
And Angelo, you realize like that is in the essence of what Bob Ross was all about.
Yes, completely.
The ability to move people, to compel them. It's the gift every artist has to give. And it can be done in a lot of different ways. Through a set of speakers or a TV set, on stage in front of a crowd of screaming long-haired freaks, or in front of a camera on an 18 by 24 canvas. Or you might find it on a Colorado football field, in the form of a mountain made from 100+ high school marching band students.
We run our program here off of 3 tenets: do your best, stay curious, be kind. Everything else, like I don't care if we're last place. I care if we act like last place. Like that stuff will take care of itself. But our program, the success, the accolades, the accomplishment means nothing if our kids aren't kind and if they don't have a wonder about how things work and aren't putting forth an effort every day. And it doesn't have to be the best. You know, that line can fluctuate. You can be tired, you can be overwhelmed, you can be in a bad mood, but like, did you do your best considering?
I get to do a job that makes me very happy when I'm doing this. And it's too bad that everybody does not have a job that they'd rather do than anything else in the world. And then you do your best at it.
We don't always need to see Bob's face on YouTube or on tubes of paint to get inspired, to get motivated. These days, he doesn't always appear to us as a fuzzy-haired painter guy in a chambray shirt. He can be found within the creator in all of us. Bob Ross is like a personal trainer for your spirit, and the passion he has, not just for art, but for sharing art and sharing joy, can unlock the beautiful music inside our souls.
Lastly, we want to thank Joan Kowalski and Bob Ross Inc. for enthusiastically engaging with our 2023 production by approving and sharing the voice of Bob Ross with us. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the Doherty High School Spartan Legion Marching Band.
This is bigger than us, and that's one thing I really enjoy about this show. We are performing it, but man, we're engaging our audiences. We were really lucky to have our local news affiliate do a spot on us, and that doesn't happen. That's not like a thing that you do every year. So just to have this recognition, this is bigger than the sum of its parts, and I want to take it as far as we can go.
Just make a decision where you think the old mountains would live in your world. Decide where the peaks are and all the valleys. It's what makes painting so much fun. You get to control your world. This is pure, raw power here. When I go home, all I can do is, the only power I have is over the garbage. That's mine. It waits for me and I get to take it out. But on this canvas, I can do anything. I can move mountains, trees, I can even move rivers here. And so can you.
The old clock on the scoreboard tells me we've got another finished podcast episode. I want to thank my guests, Carla Harvey, Johnny Hawkins, and Angelo Sapienza. This happy little episode, it was produced with help from James Shapiro at Jansen Media and mixed by Digital Sound and Video of Daytona Beach, Florida. Support your local public television station and say thanks for giving us Bob Ross and the joy of painting. If you want to see your paintings, use hashtag #PaintLikeBobRoss. Bob Ross certified instructors are the only ones that know how to teach you Bob's world-famous painting method. So don't settle for second best. Find the local CRI at bobross.com and then click Take a Class. And if you got your own Bob Ross story to tell, call me 866-FANBRUSH or send an email to podcast@bobross.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook at The Joy of Painting with Bob Ross. I'm Ron Scalzo. The Joy of Bob Ross is written and produced by me, Ron Scalzo, in partnership with Bob Ross Inc. Bob Ross name and images are registered trademarks of Bob Ross Inc.